Hi, Katie O'Connor here with Joanna Lohman, three-time All-American at Penn State University and United States women's soccer team player, as well as she plays on the Washington Freedom. We're going to go ahead and ask Joanna a couple questions. So Joanna, you grew up in Silver Spring, Maryland. Besides attending Penn State for college, you have pretty much stuck around your hometown playing with the Maryland Pride and the Washington Freedom. How important would you say this area is to you?
Great question. I would say the area is very important to me. Just growing up here, I have all my friends have come back after school, so I have a great fan base and a great friendship base here in the DC area. I'm also very familiar with all the coaches, and growing up here, you kind of make friends on your soccer teams. They're all in the area also, and just knowing that growing up playing in the Bethesda Soccer Club, which is currently the fourth best team in the club in the country. So, and also the Washington Freedom, which is one of the best teams in the country too. So I know I'm surrounded by great soccer. And I'm really close to Penn State where I went to school, so I can always get in my car and drive 3 hours up there. And the city is a great place to be. Always things happening, always places to go out and have fun. So, it's just been a great place to grow up, and I'm glad I'm back here.
Excellent. Now, you mentioned local teams. What's your favorite local team to watch?
I'm going to have to say the Washington Redskins. I'm going to go against soccer because although I love the DC United, I love soccer. I'm a huge Washington Redskins fan.
So you say the Washington Redskins. I've read that your goal is to be the first woman general manager of the Washington Redskins team. As a woman, how would you adjust to the setting that is, to be honest, dominated by men?
I think that my current job, I'm a commercial real estate broker downtown, is definitely dominated by men. So I'm getting used to it at this point. And being an athlete and coming from a very aggressive, competitive background, I think I'd be perfect in the setting of mostly men because that's kind of what I've grown up in. And like I said, my job now, my boss is a male, and I'm basically with men all day. So I've gotten used to the way they act, and I think I interact with them pretty well. So I think I'd be great. And this is an advertising video for the Washington Redskins. If anyone wants to hire me, I'm right here.
What is your favorite movie of all time?
My favorite movie of all time? That is a tough question. I'm trying to think. I'm gonna have to go with the movie Crash. It's a pretty recent movie, and I watched it and I was just blown away, basically by the message it sent and how real it was. And it was very un-Hollywood-like. It wasn't, happily ever after. This is how life is, but it was a more realistic sense of what life brings you and how you deal with situations.
I like that movie a lot. Now, what movie are you most embarrassed to say that you enjoyed?
Probably How to Win a Date with Tad Hamilton. I even bought the soundtrack to that movie. I'm embarrassed to admit that, but yes, it's in my car. I listen to it very often, and I don't know, it's just like this, silly love story, and I loved it. So,
what's the greatest sacrifice you would say you've had to make to achieve your level of success as a soccer player?
Sacrifice in terms of just social scenarios. You see your friends going out on the weekends, and this is even growing up in middle school and high school, and having sleepovers, and even going to prom, which I didn't get to go to my junior year of high school. And you're a little bit envious, but then the next day when you're playing in a game and you get that feeling after the game's over and you win, then it's all worth it. So I think it was just having to prioritize my life in terms of putting soccer ahead of my social life and school in front of everything. So it was school and then soccer, and then having to kind of put my social life on the back burner.
Now, while playing for Penn State, you were named Pennsylvania's NCAA Woman of the Year, Big Ten Player of the Year in 2003. You are the first four-time first-team All-Big Ten pick in Penn State history, not to mention a three-time All-American. Wow, that's impressive. How is it that you were able to work so hard on the field and at the end of the day walk away from Penn State with a 3.98 GPA? How did you manage everything? I'm exhausted just reading all of your accomplishments.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I've gotten that question a few times, but I think it was just growing up. My parents, always taught me to work hard in whatever I did, and I'm very self-motivated. So, to a sense where I'm almost a perfectionist. So, I don't like doing things halfway. I like doing everything in the right way. So, I would go to school and I would focus on school, and I would play soccer and I would focus on soccer, and soccer teaches you to really manage your time well. So when I wasn't playing, I was having to do homework. And then when I wasn't doing homework, I was able to go out with my friends. So soccer and athletics really teaches you to, manage your time and to understand that, everything is a process. And, working hard on the field could be the same thing as working hard in the classroom. And it's equally important, if not school is more important. So, I always took pride in getting A's in classes, and it would frustrate me if I ever got a B. So I don't like talking about those B's I ever got. But, soccer teaches you a lot, in the classroom also.
As a young girl, what kind of role models did you look up to?
I think I had a lot of role models in every sense. My parents, of course, were two great role models for me. My mother had a full-time job when she was raising me, and still managed to spend a lot of time with me and show me the attention that I needed. And my father has also had a full-time job, and I thought they were fantastic parents. And they showed me that playing sports is for fun. They didn't pressure me to do so, and that was always important because you see a lot of kids that feel like they have to do it, and I never felt that way. I always felt like this is what I wanted to do, and this is what I was born to do. So my parents and also both of my siblings were really influential in my life, both older than me. And I would say a few teachers growing up, and just some older soccer players that went through the ranks of the national team that really led the way, like Julie Foudy and Mia Hamm, that really opened up our opportunities now for the women's game, because they kind of set the stage and paved the way for us.
Now finally, what's your favorite word?
My favorite word, this might sound a little dorky, but my favorite word has to be palpable, because I used to have my words of the week a couple years back, and one of my words of the week was palpable, and I tried to use it in a sentence every once in a while, and I always found it very difficult, but when I did, I felt very satisfied with myself. So I think palpable would be my favorite word.
Do you have a least favorite word?
My least favorite word, probably failure. I don't like to fail, and it pisses me off when I do fail. So ever hearing that word, it kind of discourages me. So I have to say failure.
Any last thoughts?
Just kids, stay away from drinking and drugs. And thank you to the Century Council for having me and letting me be on your website. You guys are amazing and a great cause. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here.